Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? I'm Bill Carrington. Today I received an email from a former employee and was asking me a few things and asked me about the law of attractions and asked if I had used the law of attractions, know anything about it, and do I know for sure if it works. The answer is yes, yes, and yes. The law of attractions is and this was taught to me at a very young age. My grandmother, she tried to explain it, but we didn't call it the law of attraction. She said that in life, you got to figure out what it is you want to do and where you want to go and who you want to be. And so at that time, it looked like my future was written out to be in farming because that's what we were. We were farmers. My family was. Both sides of my family were. And that's my mother's side and my father's side. So my grandmother, she tried to explain what people call the law of attraction is. She said, we plant seeds in the ground. These seeds, in our mind, we're saying some are corn, because that's what it's supposed to be. Some are cabbage. Some are hay. Some are watermelon. They're different kinds. And she said, but you gotta remember, all seeds will grow in the same patch or garden if you plant them together, whether they're good seeds or bad seeds, like a positive or a negative, like a good seed that would have a fruit or a vegetable, and a bad seed that would have a maybe coming from a plant that would end up having something poisonous to humans. So when she was telling me that, she goes, "What you got to remember is," and this is like when he was asking me, and you were asking me about the law of attraction, so I'm going to try to keep us in that same frame. She said, in which she said you have to figure out which seed you want to plant. And the law of attraction states that, from best I remember, you have to come up with an image of what of something that you want to have or something you are looking to have in the future. And so whatever that image is of the thing that you want, then that's the vision you come up with. So we wanted to plant corn. I'll use that as an example. Then we find the corn seed. Then we would plant it. And that's what you got to do about in the law of attractions. You got to come up with a vision of something that you want. It doesn't matter what it is. It just make sure it's what you want, or who you want to become, or where you want to go, or in that whatever that thought is, that image of what you want, then you got to plant it. And she said this. She said everything has to be planted. Everything has to have a growing time before you can reap the harvest, before you receive. So, and with the law of attractions, it states something similar from what I read it. You have to come up with a vision, and all things are possible through time. And so, when you come up with a vision, then you got that in your mind. I think in the law of attractions they say even write it down. Most people do write it down, and so like we would know where the corn seed was planted in the patch or garden. So you have to know where you're planting. Like, let's say you wanted to become a firefighter, then you're going to plant that seed. This is my seed to become a firefighter, my vision, and you write it down. So then, now listen to this. Then that vision, you have to let it grow. In other words, during that time, where that growing time, because everything has to grow, they from I've been told is you need to, like, let's say you're wanting a vehicle, you go test drive the vehicle. You've already got the vision, you already got it written down, so you go test drive the vehicle. Certain clothes you want to wear. In some cases, they say, I don't even know who they are, but you have that image of either this vehicle, home, clothes, or who you see yourself being, and you play that vision over and over. And they say the more that you get involved in that, then the more the law of attractions brings it to you. And I've heard them quote a Bible verse from Matthew. And let's see here if I got this handy. Bible verse in Matthew. Hang on one second. I got this right in here. Hang on, let me see where I'm done with that. I got it right here. My Bible is, let's see. Okay, I've been told that in the law of attraction, it's they quote something like as below as above, and there's a prayer in Matthew. Give me 1 second here to find that. Let's see. Got stuff written down here. And there it is right there. Okay, Matthew. In Matthew it states that in verse 6, and let's see, verse 6, and I think it's in my King James, I think it states that like say, it states here the kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So in other words, whatever can happen, like in the law of attraction, you're bringing it to you. It's like in the ether or in heaven, and you bring it to you. So that's what the law of attraction was: as above, so as below, or as below, so as above. And so that's what in that verse 6 it states there. And it's chapter 6, verse 10 in my Bible. It says, the kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So whatever it is, it can be done here the same as there. So, and that's what they call the ether. And I believe that's right from what I've read. And then they'll use in Matthew, these words are similar to what I've heard be used before, and that will be, hang on 1 second. Right here in chapter 7 of Matthew, and it'll be verse 7. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. And so, like what I was saying when I was going through that, it was you got to get it in your mind of what it is you want to be, or who you want to be. Then you got to have it set to believe that this can be, and that's what faith in God is. It's having that belief. And like I've heard them quote another Bible verse, and that one is, and the one it says, and it's in Genesis, and that'll be chapter 1. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let him have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In that image of God created he him, male and female. Created he them. So like with Adam. Adam didn't know he could create anything, and God knew that He was going to have to keep Adam busy, so He wanted Adam to go through the garden and name everything, and so that would occupy Adam's time and his mind. So that's when Adam became a creator. We are made in the image of God, and through that image, through that being created in the image of God, then, as it says, all things are possible. So you have to mentally use your mind, and as it's been told, you pull it out of the ether, and the ether is a dark spot, that a place in time and space, that where all things come from. And because at the beginning there was total darkness till God spoke in light. So in that ether, whatever it is that needs to be created is sitting there waiting to be created. It already is created, but you just got to pull it out. And so you got to figure out what it is you want to be, where you want to go, what you want to do, where you want to live, where you want to drive, so on and so forth. So that's the part about the law of attractions. And so when my grandmother said, well, you have that growing period, and that's what you have when you put this out, because you got to remember, if you're putting out negative vibes, then that's going to be your reward. If you put out positive vibes, then that'll be your reward. As I've read in different things, karma, if you do something, say you receive something that you wanted to come out of the ether to become what it is that you want with your vision, and you try to use it in a harmful way, that's where karma, and that's tricky, will come back to hoodoo you. And that you want to be really careful, because whatever you grasp or reach for in the law of attractions, you've got to be careful what it is. Some people say, be careful what you wish for. You've probably heard that line. You've got to be careful, because whatever you're putting out there, it's going to grow. Remember what my grandmother told me. She said, whether you plant good seeds or bad seeds, so positive or negative, it's going to grow. And so that's the same way as you go through your day. You've got to remember the law of attraction states that whatever you think, that's what you're going to make. It's like I get up and I go to work in the morning. And on the way to work, I'm in a good mood. I said, God, thank you for everything. I praised Him, showed Him gratitude, and I just praised Him for everything that I have. And then on the way to work, say somebody cuts me off, and it could go two scenarios. I could either say, oh, okay, got it, okay, we missed. Or I could sit there and say some obscenities, track this person down, run up on them, try to mess them up as they had tried to mess me up. Even though I don't know why they'd want to do that or what happened, but sometimes your anger will take over before you have time to think. And so in that scenario, if I got mad, and so then I would carry that whole day, and my whole day would be ruined, because I would dwell on that one scenario that happened of being cut off or almost hitting cars. This person cut me off with his vehicle, then oncoming cars could have hit me and caused them to wreck, and then swerving over, hitting me, could have caused him to go back in. Anyway, you see what I'm saying? And so, but if I was to say, God, thank you so much for not letting us hit. Thank you for letting them pass on by. Be with them, Lord. Pray. I say a prayer, Lord, be with them, bless them and their family, as I wish for mine to be blessed, and for myself. And thank you again for us all missing the oncoming traffic, the gentleman that came by me, myself, and those behind us. So say there was two different scenarios I could have went. I chose the positive one. Okay, so That's something I put out. Then the rest of my day will become positive. You know, when I was young, I always wanted to just shoot out and go play or do stuff, and my grandmother would always say, "Now make your bed, make your bed." And so as I, because they say she stayed with us, she was like my babysitter. My grandmother was, and so over time, as I grew up, and she'd always say, make your bed, make your bed. And I go, I'm so tired of making my bed. She goes, you may go through today. Now listen to this. She said, you may go through today and not accomplish anything. Maybe everything you touch just falls apart. Maybe something at work will happen, or something at school will happen and just mess you up and you get mad. Maybe your girlfriend goes off and leaves you. Just anything can happen. The most negative thing, could happen all day long. Just negative, just one domino effect after the other. She goes, but when you get home and you're taking your shower, you ate your supper, and you get ready to get in that bed, the bed is made that you're getting in. And she said that bed, if that bed's made, then you won. You're victorious for that day, because you accomplished one thing if you accomplished no other ones. That was making your bed. So when you lay your body down, you lay your body down in a clean, made-up bed. Just something so simple. So then I know that tomorrow, as she said this, tomorrow I'll be victorious all over again. I thought, wow, she's been doing the same thing. And she goes, eventually it'll all start to change. She was a very smart lady, and very impressed with thinking back and that. And so, anyway, with this law of attraction, like you're saying, it's all about you are sitting down and thinking of something, just like you may not have, maybe you're a smoker and you don't have any cigarettes, okay? Because I've been there, done that. Well, all of a sudden you notice you're out. Well, you start go, man, I don't have no cigarettes. Well, let's say you're at work. Let's use that scenario. You're at work. Well, a couple friends, hey man, what's going on, man? I got no cigarettes. I ran out. Forgot to pick any up. Blah blah blah. Oh, hey man, here I'll rent you a couple. Now give them a couple. And so that law of attraction worked. They concentrated so much on wanting a cigarette, had none, but the law of attraction, the universe opened up, and cigarettes appeared. And that is true, how that can work. I mean, it doesn't matter how small or how big. If you ask, what did he say? If you ask, you shall receive. That's a prayer. That is in a prayer. If you seek, you shall find. And if you knock, it shall be open to you. You got to remember to be cautious about what you ask for. You got to. So you get the cigarette, and the next thing you know, man, I'm going to have some more. I got to come up with some money. Next thing you know, you got some money for a pack or maybe even a carton. You're back in the game again. You received what it was you were searching for. When I talk to different people, I say, get you something to drink. Ask for something to drink. Something to be there tomorrow. If you don't have it today, ask for something to drink tomorrow. Something to eat. Something small. Start with something small. That's what the law of attraction says. You got to start out, and you've heard this said before. You got to take baby steps before you can run. Right? Yeah. So if you have to take baby steps before you run, the law of attraction is the same way. You got to start out small until you learn how to use the law of attraction, which it's all in the Bible. You were designed to be a creator, and man has made a bunch of stuff. We have. I mean, God has blessed us with very very much a lot of talent, and we've been very wasteful through our creativity. We've ruined things, and there's a lot of stuff that we need to fix because we created something that ended up turning around to be bad. And even though at the time it seemed like it was going to be good, but then over a period of time, you look and see that this may not be as good as what you thought it was. So you got to be careful and think things out. And with me, it's my faith in God. I believe that all things can happen. I wanted to write a book. I saw myself writing a book, And first I saw myself writing Christian literature, and I'd done that, and it's been published in local newspapers and magazines, and I've been on the radio about it. And now I have my first book out called Faith in God. And so, these things are possible. Uh, I wanted a different vehicle to drive. I saw it. I went and test drove it. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. And so, okay, how can I go about paying for it? Blah blah blah. So this is the same way with the home, everything. That's what when they say the law of attractions. That's how it comes together. But you gotta, like I say, you've got to study. I say study the Word. Get in the Bible. Study the Bible. And then you'll see how those keys will unlock different doors in different chapters of the Bible. And like I say, that's what it comes down to. It's what the law of attractions are, is you believing that you can. And you have to get rid of all that negative stuff where maybe people have told you in your life that you can't. You can't succeed. You'll never be anything. You got to get that out of your mind. You just got to be positive. For every negative thing you throw out there, you got to double down and throw some positive things out there. It's like someone said, if you think of something negative towards someone, then that could come back on you 10 times worse. And it may not even come from that same person, but like I said, karma, and the universe, God, it's a way of going back and correcting things. And it's just the way it is. So everybody be careful. Like I say, try to the one that asked me about this, try to research it more. Read your Bible, get in church, and that's what I would say. That's the very key to life itself. It's just coming closer to God. God bless you all, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you.